Welcome to iReport. I'm Samuel Burke at CNN New York. Astonishing events in Ukraine and Venezuela are generating incredible iReports from CNN's viewers and users. From Kiev to Caracas, we have the images of protests and violence that you've uploaded. We'll show you how social media and technology are redefining our landscape. iReport starts right now. Tensions in Ukraine have captured the world's attention, but let's look at how the situation in the region unfolded. In November, anti-government protests broke out when President Viktor Yanukovych backpedaled on a deal with the European Union in favor of closer ties with Russia. The protests lasted for months. Then, on February 22nd, President Viktor Yanukovych fled Kiev. He claimed he was still the president in power, but parliament proceeded to remove him from office. The next day, Parliament named Alexander Turchinov interim president. And on March 1st, Russian President Vladimir Putin obtained his parliament's permission to use military force to, as he puts it, protect Russia's interests in Ukraine. And Russian troops proceeded to take over much of the Crimean Peninsula. For Ukrainian iReporter Volodymyr Solohub, the presidential palace was a symbol of corruption and greed. After visiting for the first time with hundreds of others, he explained how this luxury fortress is now open to those whose taxes paid for it.
Well, this was one of the most heavily guarded piece of property in Ukraine, and it was the place where only the selected politicians and people close to the president were allowed to be. People were expecting to find something like these crazy things inside. They just wanted to see with their own eyes what's there. I was surprised with the kitsch. It was very expensive and sometimes tasteless. The place which he had, it was a resort. You don't spend time on resort while working as a president. You spend your time in the office working for the people. One of the things which astonished me, all the people which were on the ground were walking around and were treating everything with great care. It was all built with taxpayers' money.
In the past weeks, the monumental events in Ukraine have at times overshadowed major events in Venezuela. Let's begin in Caracas, the country's capital, where these incredible images were taken during protests on February 12th. At one point in the video, men in uniform start shooting at people out of camera view, while people throw stones at the men in uniform. A local journalist taped and submitted this footage to iReport, but asked to remain anonymous. CNN reached out to the Venezuelan government for its reaction to this footage and is still waiting for an answer. Noeli Gomez sends us this iReport from Barquisimeto in northwest Venezuela. ¿Dónde está la paz? Where is the peace? She is asking in that video. Gomez says when she saw the Venezuelan National Guard standing in front of the family members of detained students, she was moved to come down on her knees right in front of personnel. Venezuelan and Ukrainian protesters have been turning to both social media and a smartphone application called Zello. It's a walkie-talkie-like application allowing users to send short voice messages from person to person or to a limited group of people. Zello's been one of the most downloaded apps in Ukraine and Venezuela as of late, but in mid-February, Venezuelans began complaining that the app simply stopped working. Zello's chief technology officer confirmed to me that it was blocked for large swaths of Venezuelans, so his team recoded the app, allowing users to circumnavigate what Zello believes is a government blockade. But Venezuelans are also experiencing similar issues on other popular social networking services like WhatsApp and Twitter. As you can see here, the text of tweets loads in Venezuela, but images have been blocked on Twitter. A spokesman for the social network confirmed the block when it began in mid-February, and like the team at Zello, he told me, quote, "We believe the Venezuelan government is blocking the images." The Venezuelan government denies that. As a result of all of this, Venezuelans have begun using virtual private network software and apps to get around this digital wall. It's the same VPN software that Chinese and Iranian citizens use to evade their government's blockades. Well, while some countries are known for hindering digital access, some governments are actually using it to better serve the public. When we come back, we'll take a look at how one city is turning to apps to keep its citizens happy. Welcome back. I'm Samuel Burke in New York. We've shown you how iReports user-generated content is changing how we gather and view news. But now we want to show you how apps are turning to their users to solve problems. A new smartphone application is turning to its users to help make lost pets a thing of the past. Harvey, how does it feel to be here? You're at the top of your game now. If the pampered pooches at the Westminster Dog Show could talk,
you take a picture, you go,
they'd show the love for this man, John Palomeno.
We don't charge anything, we don't sell anything. Our goal is to save dogs.
The mastermind behind the app, Finding Rover.
We can identify a dog by using facial recognition.
His app registers a dog's face.
One eye there, we put one eye there.
And its owner's details. So if Fido gets lost, anyone can snap a picture to reunite man and man's best friend.
I think the statistics are last year 9 million dogs were lost in the United States alone. I think the number is about 30% to 40% make it home. We're going to change that. In order to get him to look at the camera, we have what's called a bark button.
This will perk some ears up. The technology behind the app costs millions of dollars to develop.
And a nose here, and that's it, and hit done. And now it'll scan your dog and it'll do facial recognition.
But Palomeno hopes to monetize the service with ads. And here at the dog show, owners are barking their approval. Had you ever thought about using an app to register your dog or facial recognition for a dog before?
No, never even crossed my mind.
And now that you've seen it, what do you think? Do you think you'll tell some of your other dog friends?
Oh yeah, I would use it for sure.
Would you consider using that app?
Absolutely.
As for the dogs, would you mind a picture of you being taken for an app? You've never had any experiences lost in the street, have you? Let's just say they're not licking it up just yet, but the owner of Finding Rover is enthusiastic.
We've been out about a little over 90 days, and we have a little over 32,000 downloads, and we've already found 170 dogs.
Oh, good boy, huh?
And don't worry, if you lose your dog before you download the app, you can always upload a picture of your pooch afterward. That's enough to make dogs and their owners jump for joy. You can find a link to the app on my Twitter account, @SamuelCNN. Well, apps aren't just for dogs and their owners. Even city governments are taking advantage of smartphone applications to increase efficiency and better serve its citizens.
Boston, Massachusetts. It's one of the oldest cities in the United States, and it's also one of the smartest. Over the last few years, Boston has excelled in the arena of smart government by taking the city and its residents into the digital age. And with its Office of New Urban Mechanics, Boston is positioned as one of North America's most innovative cities.
We are the innovation team for the City of Boston. We build partnerships between innovators inside of City Hall and those outside of City Hall to experiment with new ways to deliver city services.
Much of that engagement comes from mobile applications on citizens' smartphones.
The first was our app Citizens Connect, which was a mobile phone app that was designed to enable the residents, Boston's residents, to collaborate with the city to maintain the physical state of the city. So you see a problem, you can report a problem, and the request for service will go directly to the teams that are going to fix it. And it gives you notifications along the way as to when it's been reported, when it's been fixed, and so on.
So our pothole is right up here next to this Porsche.
The Citizens Connect app allows residents to report issues like potholes, graffiti, and damaged street signs. According to the mayor's office, about 70,000 requests have been logged using Citizens Connect since its launch in 2009. The city even has an app that allows people to submit certain requests hands-free.
One called Street Bump, which was sort of a takeoff on the basic idea of using mobile phones. It is an app that runs on your phone, and as you and your car and the phone are driving over the city streets, and everything is shaking, that the app is able to grab that data, that sort of that jostling, and then send it to a server that can then determine whether or not you just hit something that needs to be fixed.
26 available spots right now.
One of the latest applications the city is testing attempts to make finding parking spots a lot easier.
The app is called Parker, and so the city of Boston is now experimenting with smart parking. So these are sensors embedded in the pavement that can detect when there's a car on top of the parking spot, and then you as a driver can use the app to look for parking.
For Boston, these apps are more than just mobile technology with a civic twist.
We're trying to figure out how you use digital technology to inform and engage and empower, and empowering our own staff to actually be able to respond to those requests and ultimately deliver better neighborhoods.
And being at the forefront of innovation means being an example to other cities of how to use technology to better serve the public.
One of the great things about public sector innovation is that it can be inherently collaborative. So the great idea in Chicago or San Francisco or New Orleans or Philadelphia can easily be shared with Boston, and there isn't some of the same sort of risks around competition that one might experience in the private sector. So the more cities that are trying new things, that are finding new solutions to kind of long-standing urban problems, the faster we're going to get to better cities across the nation or across the world.
That's it for this month's episode of iReport for CNN. We'd like to give a special thanks to all the Ukrainians and Venezuelans who sent us their iReports. And if you want to join in, just head over to cnniReport.com and submit your material there. Maybe we'll see you and your report on next month's show. I'm Samuel Burke in New York.